The fifth expression of Gemini is clearing. And we've come from participation in the last expression, which brings us into the community. And when we engage with the community, we find that emotions are triggered. They bubble up, and some of these are quite dysfunctional expressions of self. And we begin with the idea of the labour demonstration, which is typically angry and emotional, and is an outburst of energy. And we have to kind of understand that this has to be contained to some extent. It's quite correct to be outraged at injustice and to use your emotional nature to build up the motivation to do something about it. That's not wrong, is it? But if that goes too far, then the whole principle of community is threatened. And the principle of community has to do with it's safe. It's a safe place. So if your outburst is simply going too far, then it won't be safe for other people. That there has to be a limit to the extent to which we're enabled in our ability to use our own emotional outbursts to make political points. And the purpose of this clearing exercise is to see which of our emotions is not wholesome, and to release it, to let it go back into the general community kind of sense of coping with people. In other words, some people can have strong emotions and they're held by the community. Some people have to contain their own emotions because it just goes too far. And what the community does, it sets up a barn dance. And here we have Gemini 22's mystery that a barn dance is not quite socially acceptable all of the time. Once in a while, you can get drunk, you can behave in a strange way and do silly things, and everybody's okay with that because it's a barn dance and that's what you do at barn dances because they're only once a month. And this outburst of the previous degree is now replaced by outlet. We let out our feelings, we release some of our inhibitions, and this is the letting off steam in a controlled, civilized way. So, two aspects here of emotional process, emotional release, emotional clearing. One, outburst to be contained. The other, outlet to be encouraged. Very similar, dealt with quite differently. And you can see that the barn dance is likelier to accommodate and somehow soften the feelings, whereas the labour demonstration is going to move things along and make important changes so that entropy does not set into the community. In fact, with Gemini 23, we see the beginnings of a new way of being, new spiritual insights unfolding. These are the three fledglings. So we have this nascent birthing taking place of a new dimension of spiritual consciousness. And this is a direct result of having cleared out some of our feelings. The clearing of emotion enables a space within our psyche to exist and draw in new spiritual motivations. This is why we go through the clearing process. And this enables us to develop a kind of a spiritual stamina. What we see with the children skating on ice is the ability not to be defeated. The ice seems like a severe weather condition and we all want to stay indoors and be warm. But the kids don't want to do that. They want to go out and play. And it doesn't matter what the weather's doing. They just refuse to be defeated because they've got this innocent life force coursing through their veins and not stuck by the emotional blockages that have taken place They're undefeated by those processes. Whereas as we get older, we get more and more clogged up by the things that we didn't want to happen in life, that rest within us as emotional stuckness. And so we see the wisdom of the children in their refusal to be defeated, taken to a point of balance, I would say, with the final degree here, the man trimming palms. And remembering that, I mean, the process of trimming palms is holding wildness within acceptable levels. And children skating on ice, they're wild, aren't they? They're noisy and they're uncontrolled and they're having fun. So we put some boundaries around that kind of behavior. So if we look at the whole batch of 5 degrees, we're looking at what to do with our feelings. You know, we've all got feelings, and some of them are not very pleasant at all. We don't want to repress them. If we do, then they'll just burst out, and that will not produce the result we want. We do want to contain them to some extent and release them in a controlled way in a barn dance in the community. And we notice that when we do this, when we kind of have some reasonable relationship with our negative side, spiritual development occurs. We've got this kind of new series of ideas that are just being born, and it's not established. We don't really kind of know what to do with them. Children do. They just play with them. And it doesn't matter what are the circumstances of their lives, they just play. So we're encouraged to be like that. As we go through our emotional process, we have these new insights. And what we have to do is to play with them, to try them out, to find out what it would be like if I were to adopt this new spiritual principle that I've just read in a book and found very interesting. What will happen when I actually do it and overcome the entropy I feel? What if I just get on and do it? And this takes us to the point where we're in right relationship with the community. We're expressing ourselves, but the man trimming the palms has said, look, you know, okay, up to a point, we like that. But beyond that point, we'll trim you down a bit. So that's how it is. You know, we are all going to find emotions within us that need to be released up to a point, and the community actually will show you where that point is. And if you don't get the information by subtle means, they'll start becoming less and less subtle, like putting you in prison and so on.